everybody, hello and welcome. As always, I'm Sean. This is In the Mixer, episode 37 of our Pentagon Challenge, and we are firmly entrenched now in Mexico, trying to get that North American Champions League title, and the quest to get that trophy starts today. So we're going to pretty much jump straight in. We've got a bit of stuff we're going to recap a little bit relating to the league and how we're traveling so far this season. We're going to go through kind of the Champions League structure a little bit because it's brand new to me. I don't quite know how it works. And we've got two huge games, our first legs in that competition. So let's jump in and see how we've gotten on. Now, first and foremost, sitting just up above my head there, currently in fourth position, 7 games played, plus 14 goal difference and 17 points is Club America. We are 4 points behind current league leaders Monterrey, Tigres and Cruz Azul ahead of us there as well. This is, of course, now what's commonly called the Mexican First Division closing stage. Now, the Mexican First Division opening stage, we did finish on top, but we didn't win in the knockout part of that competition once it actually came through and kept going. We beat Monterrey in the quarterfinals quite comfortably, and then in the semi-final we actually fell to Cruz Azul. 1-0 draw in the first leg, a 1-0 defeat in the second leg, even though I thought maybe we could have gotten something out of it, and they went through and eventually won the final as well as champions after finishing in like 5th spot in the league. Frustratingly, that declares them champions and we just make the playoffs, I think it says, relating to that particular portion, even though we were top of the league, final day of the season, 1 defeat throughout the course of that period. We're now into the second stage, which they call the closing stage. And we are still undefeated through our 7 games, but we do have 2 draws throughout that period as well. You can see there, San Luis and Mineros. We didn't start particularly well in this competition. Those draws did come relatively early on. 2 draws in our first 3 games, but the rest has been pretty straightforward. Good win against Atlante, good win against Necaxa, very good win against Chivas in what is called the Mexican Superclaso between Chivas Guadalajara and Club America. A good 3-1 win against FC Juarez, and then a good 5-1 victory against Atlas as well. The Juarez one particularly impressive because we were 2-0 up, then went down to 10 men with 70 minutes of the game to go, and they did get a penalty, but we managed to hold on and even pull back another goal through Tonico at the end of that. There are new faces as well, which I've just remembered that we have to go through. So I've had quite a few departures, including some for some incredibly big cash. Gabriel Chavez has left for 100 million. Martin Carrera's left for 55 million. Brandon Lozano's gone to LA Galaxy for 30 million, so that stuff's great. I've spent a bit of cash as well, 720 million in after 520 out. So most of that goes with Tonico. We didn't pay this 200 million up front, but he is a wonder kid Brazilian who we kind of showed you guys in the last episode is coming in. Already started absolutely phenomenally. 4-star current ability already, 5-star potential. He is a world-renowned wonder kid at 19 years of age. Doesn't turn 20 for a good few months. He has been absolutely fantastic. 7 goals and 7 appearances so far for the club, and he will lead the line today as well. Federico Debari, I don't think I showed you. I think I signed him late. Right wing back, just to really give us a bit more depth. We had a whole bunch, and still, to be fair, have a whole bunch of bids coming in from Chinese teams for a lot of our players. And I thought for a little bit there we were probably going to lose Mafoa and Salvato, but we've kept hold of them. But I did bring in another left back as well to kind of cover that position. Ebert William, more natural in that position, I think, which settles it quite a bit. And again, at 18, plenty of potential ahead of him. He's only on loan. If we want to buy him, we have to pay close to 200 million. I don't quite have that in the budget at the moment. But potentially, if we win the league, if we carry on next season, he might be someone that we try and bring across permanently. But we've got a good mix now. I want to try and keep like a Mexican core to the group, which we didn't have previously. We had a lot of Argentine players throughout the starting 11, but now we've got like 2 Brazilians, 2 Argentinians, 1 Uruguayan now. There's another one joining in the off-season, and I'm hopeful that I can fill out the rest of the squad with like good up-and-coming Mexican talent. We've got good potential across the team. You can see that some of the highest potential players are already some of our best players on the park as well. And a good mix of current ability as well. No one really dropping below kind of that 2.5, 3-star mark. And if they are, it's because they've got potential to get above that level, or they're like a backup goalkeeper, like Perez here. So he's got plenty of time on his side to really get to become like a first-team player in the future. Other than that, those squad's doing pretty well. The only out we've got at the moment is Luis Miguel Silva. He picked up a knock during the week, unfortunately. He's out 3 to 5 weeks, so we probably won't see him for either of these legs in the Champions League, where we are playing Houston Dynamo from North America and the MLS. Now, it does look on the Champions League structure like it is just a straight-out knockout competition, which is a cup, not a league, so I'm not sure why it's called the Champions League, given that there's no league format to it. But the first round seems to go into here. We go straight into quarterfinals, straight into semifinals, straight into a final as well. So there's a good chance you guys get like 4 episodes this week if this competition goes well. If it doesn't, we will, of course, rally. We'll go again next season and see how we can get on. But our pathway is pretty much there. So we're probably going to play, if we get through, Tigres from Mexico or CF Frag Comar from Puerto Rico against one of Municipal, who I think that's Guyana or Guam, maybe? Guam, it could be Guam. Real Salt Lake, Alajuelense, I think you'd pronounce that, from Costa Rica, and Monterrey, who are currently leading the league in Mexico as well. So our path is pretty straightforward as to how we would get there, at least through to the quarterfinal and semi-final stage anyway. That's really where we kind of want to be setting ourselves up. And that huge tie against Tigres could be massive in the next round, provided they get through as well. But before we get past that, we have to get beyond Houston. And that's really what we want to focus on today. They've got a decent side. They pay a good amount of wage. They've got some high-value players as well. Guys like Brenner, Marcus are good wonder kids from Brazil as well. Dennis Augusto they've also got. So they've got like a key recruitment strategy that is bringing in that wonder kid talent. Their depth isn't great. You can see here 1.5 and 2 star for a lot of the players outside the starting 11. I think we can get beyond them, but we can't take them lightly. Just having those kind of wonder kids in there, albeit on loan, shows that they do have some sort of depth in their roster and some sort of talent there. Interesting crossover. They've got 2 designated players that you can see listed here in the full-time, part-time portion. Tim Munoz up top, US international. 17 caps, 8 goals, only 3-star current ability, but looks decent enough. Spent most of his career at Philadelphia. And the other one is Neil Pauls, who previously played for Mamelodi Sundowns, not during our time there, but a 67 cap South African international. I'd say he's probably got a little bit of ability about him as well. Can play deep, can play at the 10. He might be one to keep an eye out for in this game. But I'm confident we can do well. I'm confident we can get a good result. The shape has been working okay. There are tweaks that I want to make to it, but we're going to persevere with this little portion. When it works really well, we score 4 or 5 goals. When it doesn't work, we have real difficulty breaking teams down. And I think that's just because we don't get like extra bodies from midfield and we don't get the wing backs kind of into the box maybe as much as we probably should. But I'm confident today. We are going to go attacking all the way through. I think that's the best way to kind of go after Houston. I think when we move to our possession-based style in this shape, because there's so few bodies in midfield, we do actually kind of struggle a little bit, or we invite too much pressure. So we really want to take the game to them, at least here in the first leg. And if it's not working out after half an hour, we might make that adjustment, go back to the possession-based style and try and counter-attack away from home a little bit more. Of course, that's for Houston. We'll do it differently throughout the course of the tournament. You guys know that at this point. But good little passage of play here for Houston, keeping the ball well. Flick on ball there has found for Portales, and we've gone a goal down inside 12 minutes. It's, to be fair, good little decent possession, and then they just really put the foot down on the accelerator here and start flying forward. Rodriguez, it's just this little knockover ball. Rodriguez with a flick on header, and Portales just slide foots that one home. Gets inside the centre-back and the full-back. I'm not sure why the centre-back's out here and the full-back's chasing the man there. That's pretty poor communication on handing that defensive movement over, but we've gone a goal down here, but we've got a corner. Gonzalez to take towards back stick. Tonico was lurking, but it's cleared away. Vassallo, square ball to Padilla. Ball towards back stick to Mendoza. It's a wonderful finish from Luis Mendoza. The 19-year-old Mexican wonder kid has rifled that one into the top of the net. We'll check this out in 3 dimensions, see how it looks. Vassallo, one of our centre-backs, back to Padilla. Crosses the ball here. Did Tonico clear that back or did Burton header it away? Either way, Mendoza doesn't overthink it, just rifles it back in, gets it on target, and keeping to do nothing about that one to give us a precious away goal and restore parity in the match itself. We're going to use demand more here with about 10 minutes to go in the half. We are on top statistically. They've only had the 1 shot and the 1 shot on target for their 1 goal, which makes sense. We've got to throw in here late in the first half on the left-hand side. Mendoza, ball back stick. It's cleared away. D'Alessandro can put the ball back in. Dabari, cut back to D'Alessandro, goes towards back stick. It's cleared by Burton again, and now Dynamo may be able to launch a counter-attack here. They're quite patient in possession. I think they're aware that they've got extra bodies in there. Portales, just stand him up, boys. Don't do anything silly. Mendoza, back to Gonzalez. Padilla with a lovely recovery challenge, playing in there as the libero. And Tonico, I nearly said Tonali. Tonico with a wonderful, wonderful finish. We're going to check this out in 3 dimensions. For a player that we brought in at 18 and has just turned 19 in the last couple of months, this is an absolutely ridiculously composed finish. Gets it on halfway pretty much, turns away, chips it on his favoured left foot right into the top corner. That was Cantona-esque with the way that finished, just up towards the inside of the post there. And as we head into injury time in the first half, we've taken that goal lead, and I think now we just really need to put our feet down and go for it. Media have given him a lot of credit lately. I'm going to tell the defence you weren't that bad, but you can still improve. If we can stop them scoring again, which they haven't had a lot of chances to be fair, but if we can, 2-1 to take into a second leg is a huge advantage. Short free kick here is cleared away by Gonzalez there. Dabari was very calm, passing it back into traffic there to just make everyone panic just a little bit. But we are also through the hour mark now, so we're going to hit pause. 3 changes we're just going to go based on current conditioning. So D'Alessandro is going to come off. Junko, who was starting prior to his arrival, will come on. Bonilla will come off. We'll play Acosta out on the right. He's not used to that. He'd rather play in the middle. Actually, you know what? I'm going to undo that one. We're going to go Mendoza in as the Mazzala. So we're switching both our 2 central midfielders to get some fresh legs out there. I'm going to take off Gonzalez instead for Louis, just to get a bit more fresh legs on that left-hand side where I think we can get at them. We're going to throw a demand more shout out there as well, just to hopefully give everyone some focus through to the full-time whistle. You can see Houston have had a few more shots. They may be coming out and playing a little bit more attacking now in the second half, needing extra goals. Tonico finds Bonilla, and then Tonico tries to just curl that one to far stick just beyond the far post, but the keeper was scrambling. 10 minutes to go, so we're going to throw a demand more shout out there just to get everyone some focus through to full time. You can see Bonilla pretty much out on his feet there. 6.3 match rating, and condition is absolutely dead. He will hopefully be good for the second leg, given that we do have Sando out. And as full time's called, we are victors in the end. So Houston came flying back statistically, at least 10 shots, 3 on target, 0.86 XG, and 52% of the ball for the Dynamo. 9 shots, 4 on target, 1.13 XG, and 48% possession for Club America. But 2 valuable away goals. So we're just going to say well done, lads. Good win for us. And in the other game, Tigres absolutely smashed Fracamar away from home. Chivas also did well in their match. Monterrey, a 0-0 draw away in Costa Rica. So the Mexican side doing relatively well. Tonico gets the Man of the Match award. It won't currently let me go and give him any praise for that, but we do have a game against Tigres in the league itself, which we are going to play off screen. And then Magic of Editing, we're going to jump forward now to the second leg against Houston. All right, so jumping back in, we had a huge win against Tigres, 2-1 early in the week, which is great. That puts us up into like 3rd spot in the league, and I think within a game of Monterrey, we might actually now be still 4 points behind them, but still, huge win. Can we carry it on with another one in this game? No changes to the starting lineup. The only one I'd really make anyway is getting Silva back out there. But Bonilla did a good enough job, and everyone's got back fully fit. We've used our rest days quite well throughout that run, which is always helpful. I don't think you guys have actually seen the full team just yet. So we've got Alcantara here in goal. He's all right, decent. Nicolas Padilla, who can play as a libero, which I did mention, I think, in the early part of the save in the series. He's not been great in that role, though, so I've moved him out to the right recently. And we've got Aaron Gonzalez here, one of the older players in the squad at 28, playing as a libero role. It is his favourite position. He's a lefty, which I always love. But he's been much improved. Just consistently gets okay rating. He's never like leading the league or anything like that, but I'm fascinated as to how this works because I've never really had much success with libero, but so far this season, doing relatively well. Vassallo over on the other side, just a decent, solid central defender. No massive nonsense about him. One of that huge contingent of Argentinian players that we had in the squad that we inherited. Dabari and William I've mentioned. D'Alessandro, of course, I brought in. Mendoza was out on loan when we first arrived at the club. We brought him back from Puebla to see out the year with us, and he's been decent. Not bad, not great, just solid. He'd prefer to play at the 10. We're using him as that Mazzala because he can do it as an attacking role. And he's got some good technical attributes for it, some decent mental stats. Physically, not impressive, which is maybe his big area for improvement. You'd think you'd want a bit more like stamina and strength in the middle of the park. If you're just playing 2 in there, you can't really carry like lightweight players. You need physical players in and about. Bonilla, we've mentioned. Gonzalez has been absolutely excellent on this left-hand side, playing as that inside forward for us, that second attacking option. Full Mexican international, 24 years of age, 4-star ability when he's on top of his form. And Tonico, who, again, I'm just going to keep gushing over Tonico, I think, every game, because the Brazilian wonder kid has been superb for us. But we are 2-1 up on aggregate. We need to carry it on with a good performance here in the home leg, and I think we should be comfortable enough to do it. You can see here immediately down the right-hand side, just moving side to side, getting a shot on target, and Bonilla just went for pace, I think, or power, I guess, instead of placement, and just rifles it beyond the near post. That would have absolutely, I think, sealed the tie if we had been able to put one in the back of the net from kickoff. Pulse with a deep ball in, good play there from Alcantara to come flying out and get it. We try and release Tonico early, but it's cleared back in. Now, the one area that Houston might hurt us is this overload that they've gone for in midfield. 4 central midfielders compared to our 2. And I tell you what, they've just pulled the goal back to make it level on aggregate. We'd still go through on away goals as things currently stand, given that we scored 2 away from home. But look at this central overload that they're looking for. Pulse does quite well. We spoke about him in the build-up, the South African international. Alcantara just drops it into a bad area, and then it's actually Padilla clearing it into Ebert William, the left wing back, and into the back of the net. So it's not even a Houston score, so to speak. Here we go. We're in possession again. Gonzalez just gave it away in a poor area, and the switch has opened up a little bit of space. Good switch out now to Bonilla on the right. Cuts inside and again goes for pace instead of power. Just rifles a shot beyond the far post. Maybe could have looked to try and curl that one in, or even cross it, or cut it back to the penalty spot. That's the one actual criticism I think I've got of this shape at the moment, is that we don't get like that secondary runner for cutbacks. Really, Tonico's always going to be trying to get on the 6-yard line. The opposite inside forward on the other side tries to get to the far post. It might be something that we look to change when we change our tactical shape in a new continent, but we'll just pull back a great goal here that I've talked all the way over the top of. Gonzalez with a fantastic finish. He has picked up a bit of a knock. We'll have a look at that one at half time. But D'Alessandro does quite well here at the base of midfield, into Tonico, then Bonilla, lovely reverse pass into space. That is perfectly weighted, and keeper can't come and get it as he just slides that side-footed finish in at the near post and restores a 3-2 lead on aggregate and 1-1 in this game. I'd like to win the game as well. Throwing here on the right, Dabari to take into Bonilla, who's been, for better or worse, involved in everything so far, and that time he's actually got the goal. All right, so he needed those 2 wild strikes early on to get his sight in, but he's just had an absolutely fantastic finish here at the near post, I think on his left foot. Does quite well, drags Pulse with him. Pulse commits to the second ball to Dabari, so Bonilla gets inside and then just rifles that one with his right foot into the roof of the net. Keeper maybe could have done a little bit better. He was bending down here for some reason when the ball was up here. I'm not sure where his head was at, but we're doing quite well. I'm going to hit praise with a couple minutes remaining in the half, just to hopefully give everyone a bit of a lift heading into the break. But as things stand, we should be going through relatively comfortably, you would think. Ball in behind here. Ebert William does get it away. Back into midfield, and this is where we've got to be careful because they've got that extra man, but Gonzalez has won it back in a great area. Moves to the right-hand side now. Can he find the finish? He can indeed. That is a fantastic goal from Raul Gonzalez. For a guy carrying a knock, I wonder if it's like his shoulder's sore and he's pissed off, and that's why he's just flying past defenders here. This is an absolutely wonderful run into the 18-yard box. I thought maybe he'd gone too wide here, but he goes near post again. The Gonzalez that they've got in goal is having a nightmare with this near post defending. I think all 3 of our goals now have gone near post against him. But at half-time, 7 shots, 4 on target, 0.88 XG and 39% possession. For Houston, 4 shots, 1 on target, 0.24 XG and 61% of the ball. We are going to say it. Happy with the way things are going, lads. Keep it up. And I'm not going to risk, I don't think, that Gonzalez knock. I don't want to lose him for the rest of the season. So we're going to get, Louis, who can play that role. Not quite as well, but still very good at 3-star. We're going to get him out there and see how he goes. Throwing here on the right, finds Pulse, who's been involved pretty much in everything good that Houston have done. And he's got the ball back here and found Jezierski. Is that his name? Patrick Jezierski? I think you'd say Jeski, I guess, if he's like Polish. But it's pretty well worked here from Pulse, who does very well. Just puts a good little ball into space there. Meets it first time on his right hand foot. Right foot is what you say. It's not his right hand foot. It is his right hand side though. And they've made it 3-2, 5-3 on aggregate. They would need quite a few goals still to get back on top in terms of the away goals rule. But they have now scored 2 away from home, which we did, of course, in the first leg. Vassallo tried to force a switch there, maybe wasn't on. And now ball's back with Pulse again, who's been quite busy. He goes to drive himself that time. Alcantara thankfully equal to it. And we're going to hit pause because we're through the hour mark. And we might need just a couple of fresh legs here just to deal with some of their threats in midfield. We're going to take off Mendoza. We're going to bring on Junko, who's a bit better from like a tackling perspective. So hopefully he'll be able to apply some additional pressure to Pulse, who's getting involved in the game. And Maffei will come in for Dabari at right back because he's got a bit of a knock as well. We'll see how that goes. Unfortunately, there's a couple of guys out there with like 6.3, 6.5s that are staying on the park. I guess Ebert Williams won for that own goal that he got. And then Aaron Gonzalez apparently not having a great game as the libero either. But the rest of the team should be able to carry them through, you would think. We're into the last 10 minutes, so we're going to throw a demand more shed out there. And they'd need a huge goal swing to take control of this one. They've got a free kick here, though. Pulse to take. Goes short to Brenner. Good close down there. And now Tonico's won the ball back from the centre-back. Can he find the finish from the wide right area? Similar area to that chip from the first leg. That is a wonderful, wonderful save. Bonilla with the corner. Goes back stick because it's the only place we've got a man. Louis gets cleared away. But lovely counter-attacking football. Tonico, if he can get his foot on the ball against 1 or 2 defenders, he seems to back himself every time, which is great. And as full-time whistle sounds, a 3-2 victory on the day, 5-3 on aggregate. Wonderful, wonderful result and victory. Bonilla actually gets the Man of the Match award. I'm going to say I'm happy with how this tie went, and truth be told, I am. Good win away from home, good win at home. We maybe conceded more than I would like, but we are through to the next stage. Tigres have gone through 10-0 on aggregate after winning their leg 6-0. So I think that's who will play in the next leg, if I've got that right. First leg triumph helps us past. And yes, we get Tigres in the next leg. So it's going to be a huge Mexican tie. They have given us a bit of trouble, but we did just beat them in the league as well. Dubari out 6 to 8 days. That's not too bad. Raul Gonzalez 3 to 4 days. That's not too bad either. I would hope that we can get both those players back for the next games, which not too far away. So we've got 3 league games, and then we'll come back and we'll do the games against Tigres in the quarterfinal, first and second legs. Hopefully, setting ourselves up for a semi-final appearance, for maybe a final appearance. The expectation is that we make the final from the board, and so far so good. We're into the final 8, which is exactly what we want. New York City FC getting through, sporting Kansas in an all-MLS tie. Ourselves and Tigres, as I've already mentioned. Toronto versus Chivas should be an interesting contest, and Real Salt Lake versus Monterrey, all 4 of the Mexican sides making it through into the quarterfinal stage. Bit of an interesting one there. Not one that I kind of expected to be as high scoring as it was, but a good performance. We get ourselves through with 2 victories, and hopefully we move on to a big blockbuster tie into the semi-final as well. You're going to have to tune in next episode for that all-Mexican clash with Tigres, but hopefully enjoyed the quarterfinals themselves as well. If you do want to support the channel that little bit more, you can drop a like on this video. Helps us get higher in YouTube search results when people look for Football Manager content. You can also subscribe to the channel to be kept up to date on all of our future videos. Will this series run all the way up until FM22? We're not sure. We're flying through it a little bit at the moment. Maybe there'll be something extra. If you've got ideas, drop it in the comment section below. And you can also go and check out the reserve team as well for all stuff Australian, New Zealand football content also. But as always, more than anything, I just appreciate you guys watching along. I've been Sean, and I'll see you all again in the mixer.